Bryant McFadden now being joined by Rutgers head football coach, Coach Schiano, here at Big Ten Media Day in Las Vegas. Coach, does this ever get old for you?
You know, it doesn't. This will be my 37th year doing this.
Ooh.
And I'm as excited as I was when I was 25.
What motivates you, being almost 40 years in this industry? What still motivates you to this day?
I love the players. You know, when you can get a group of players together and a group of coaches together, have a plan, and then go try to execute the plan. Short term as well as long term, you know, over the course of a season. There's nothing more fun to me than doing that and pulling everything together. I enjoy that.
You talk about the plan, another winning season for you guys. You know, kind of unfamiliar territory when you look at the history in terms of the football program. But what needs to happen this season to have another winning season?
Well, again, if that's what you're aiming for, then I think you're in a bad way. You know, our deal is we want to win every game. And, you know, I didn't come out of retirement to go to bowl games. We already did that all at Rutgers. You know, we came here to be champions of our league and then hopefully more than that. And but it takes every single day waking up as an organization, not just as an individual, but as an organization committed to just that. And if you'll do that and you make incremental improvement each day, eventually you'll get there. It'll be the backslides are what get you. You can't have those backslides. And you try to explain that to young people, but that's the secret to life, in my opinion.
No question. And you talk about the commitment. You lost one of your top productive players a year ago in Kyle Monogy. You know, when you look at the running game and how he impacted the flow of the game, you know, how do you replace his type of production from a 2024? Well,
I think, you know, what we have is we have a really good running back room. So I'm excited about our running back room. Who's going to be the guy who steps up and becomes the lead guy? I don't know that yet. Our whole program is based on competition. And these guys are going to compete. And as I tell every player in our program, whoever gives us the best chance to win, he's going to be the starter. Whoever gives us the second best chance, he's going to be the number two, and so on and so forth. So there's no mystery at our place. And as I always tell them, you know, I don't change the depth chart. You do. I just take the tape. I watch the tape, and whatever happens on that tape, that dictates where you go. So it's totally in their hands, and we have some really good running backs in that room. I'm anxious to see who really goes and grabs it.
You know, from afar, one thing I love about what you have built there with Rutgers is the toughness at the line of scrimmage, right, on either side of the football field. How will you continue to build on that mindset, knowing that this will be a very, very difficult year for you in terms of the schedule?
Well, look, in the Big Ten, every game's a challenge. I mean, that's the way it is. It's in my opinion, the best conference in college football, and every week you show up, you better be ready to play. Part of our culture, part of who we are, is a certain toughness about us. I think it's definitely coincides with where we are in New Jersey, that grit, that toughness. But that has to be developed. That doesn't happen by talking about it. That happens by doing it. You know, you got to go pay the price, and you get used to, we call it chopping. You get used to being in that zone where you can stay focused and hit that spot over and over again, no matter what the circumstances are. I don't care if it's going well, if it's not going well. It doesn't come into effect. You have to approach it. That's the process. You have to approach it every day that way.
When you talked about the Big Ten being the toughest conference in college football, your schedule is the toughest in the Big Ten. I don't know who you made mad in terms of the schedule makers, but they felt some type of way. You're the only school in the Big Ten that will play the top three teams from a year ago in Ohio State, Oregon, and Penn State. How are you getting your guys ready for that type of gauntlet, especially in the second half of the season?
Yeah, I think that's the critical area to be looking at. Every staff I've ever been on, whether it was in the NFL, it was in college, when the schedule comes out, you hear coaches, oh, that's a win, that's a loss, that's a toss-up. How do you know, right? Who could be hurt that week, what the weather is? I just look at it as I love playing. Like those 12 guaranteed game days to me are what it's all about. I love all that work. I mean, you know, as a player, you put all that work in, and you're only guaranteed 12 games.
That's it.
So to me, I live for those games. I can't wait for them. Everything about it, the night before with the players, game day, all the pomp and circumstance, everything that goes into it, to me, is what makes college football really special.
And talking about being special, Coach, you want to have a little fun with me right now, right?
Absolutely.
You like to have
Go
fun.
ahead.
You look like you still work out, by the way.
Yeah, I'm trying, dude.
How your traps sit in your nice suit. Yeah. If you had to put together your top three coaches in the Big Ten to be a part of an arm wrestling team.
Arm wrestling team.
Arm wrestling team. What three coaches are you putting on that team? You can include yourself, but you need three from the Big Ten.
Yeah, I'm not going to include myself.
But you would be on there, I think, because I can see how, like I said, your shoulders.
Well, I appreciate that. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Who
I'm
would
going to get Brett on there for sure, Coach Beal.
Oh, yeah, he got a lot of fire in his belly.
He can fire that right arm over the top, right? I don't know. After that, it gets a little bit tricky. I don't know.
Brett?
You give me one. Who do you think?
I think Dan Lannon, he don't have the size, but I feel like he got like a Chihuahua type
Little pit bull in him, you think?
attitude.
Okay. All right.
I think he'd get in there and give it his all.
Yeah, that's good. I think you took Coach Odom, the newcomer to the league.
Yeah,
He looks like he could take it to us.
I can see that as well.
All right,
Like he
there
got a
we
little
go.
fire in his eye. Okay, what about golfers? And you look at the head coaches in the Big Ten. If you had to assemble your top 3 golfers,
Yeah, see, that's not my game, so I'm not sure about that. I'm sure there's some really good ones, though.
No question, no question. Okay,
I'm not one of those, I can promise.
you're like me. Last time I played golf, I almost tore my oblique.
I wish I had an oblique.
Yeah, my tee-off game is not good at all.
All right.
Final question for you. When you look at this upcoming season, what would be the defining, I guess, position for you guys to be at your best? When you look at the turnover, new faces and new places, which position group has to really live up to the billing?
Well, that's a tough question. Obviously, the obvious one is Kyle Monogy goes to the National Football League. Over the last 2 years, been the leading rusher in the Big Ten. So certainly that's a room that. But I'm not worried about that. I think we have really good running backs.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to replace Kyle? No, but Kyle replaced somebody, right? Isaiah Pacheco.
Yes, he did. Isaiah Pacheco.
There's a system. Our running backs coach, Damir Shaw, does an unbelievable job
Yes,
with
he
these
has.
guys.
Under the radar. He needs more flowers. Because
I'm
to your
giving him
point.
some right now.
Yes, you are, Coach.
Because what I can tell you, and you know this, in that room, that's one of those positions that's very susceptible to selfishness. There's only one ball, and they want to carry it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the job he's done bringing that room together, that's what special coaches do.
Yeah. And I can throw in one, too, as well. You talked about the running backs, offensive line. You have to continue to move a man against his will.
That's 100%.
And I love, like I said, the mentality, watching from afar, just the toughness. Will you be tougher for longer? That has to be the mindset.
Yeah, we call it strain.
That's what you call it?
Are you willing to strain? When you get locked up with somebody's going to strain a little bit harder and win the gap, and somebody's going to give.
No question.
You can't give.
No question. Well, Coach, thank you for joining me here, man. Best of luck to you and your guys this upcoming season.
Yeah, thanks. Great seeing you.
Yes.